fools. Got that fire inside, we're rising up to shine. This is our time, yeah, we're feeling so divine. Oh, we're thriving, we'll be thriving, bold and free. Women owning midlife, just you wait and see. Dance through the changes with a heart so strong. This is our anthem, come and sing along.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Not Your Mother's Midlife. I'm your host, Johanna, and today's episode might seem like a strange and awkward subject for women in midlife, but I think it might be one of the most important episodes I've recorded thus far or ever will. Pornography and kids. If your kids or your nieces and nephews, grandkids, friends' kids have eyes that can see, you need to listen all the way to the end of this episode and share. Pornography is not just a moral or cultural issue, it's a brain issue. And that means it is a parenting issue. Studies show that most kids today will see pornography before they leave their early teens, with the average age of first exposure around 11 to 13, and some as young as 7. That means this isn't a maybe for your child, it's almost a certainty, especially if they have access to a smartphone or any internet-connected device. Porn is now woven into the digital world our kids live in. They don't have to go looking for it. Often it finds them through friends, social media feeds, pop-ups, algorithm-driven suggested content. Many parents assume my kid is a good kid. They will never. But research shows a painful gap between what parents think and what kids actually experience. 3 out of 4 parents believe their children haven't seen pornography, yet over half of those children quietly report that they have. Good kids with good parents are still being exposed. And here's the crucial point. Exposure alone does not make a child bad. It taps into a normal, God-designed curiosity about bodies, sex, and relationships. A 9 or 10-year-old who goes back to look again is not broken. They are curious. The problem is that pornography exploits that curiosity, hijacking a brain that is still under construction. Research shows that repeated porn consumption is habit-forming and can escalate over time, much like other behaviors that overstimulate the brain's reward circuits. The prefrontal cortex, the braking system that helps us pause, evaluate, and say no, is not fully developed in children and teens, which makes them especially vulnerable to compulsive use. Over time, this can change the way kids' brains process pleasure and self-control. And the more a child consumes, the more intense or extreme content the brain may begin to seek out in order to get the same hit of dopamine. And that's where we see kids and adults moving towards more graphic, violent, degrading material that would have shocked them initially, but becomes normalized through repeated exposure. The industry responds to this by producing more shocking content, which then becomes the new baseline that many kids encounter first. Pornography also shapes how kids see themselves and other people. Studies link frequent porn use with poorer mental health, higher anxiety and depression, low self-esteem, and more loneliness. It's associated with less satisfaction in real-life relationships and a higher likelihood of infidelity and relationship instability later on. Porn doesn't just affect romantic relationships. It affects how children relate to friends, siblings, and parents. And as use increases, many young people withdraw socially and spend more time isolated with screens and struggle more to connect emotionally with real people in real situations. For many teens, pornography becomes their primary sex educator. Surveys show that a majority of teens who have seen porn say they use it to learn how sex works, and that many believe it's a realistic portrayal of sex. When their primary classroom is a violent, degrading performance-based fantasy, they learn that people are objects, that consent is vague or irrelevant, and that abuse is normal or even exciting. That distorts their expectations of what should happen in a loving, respectful relationship And it can affect how a boy sees his sister, his mother, or his female classmates, and how a girl sees her own worth and her body. This is not just a kid's problem either. Pornography is widespread amongst adults. In one large US sample, over 90% of men and about 60% of women reported viewing pornography within the last month. That means many parents struggling themselves might be tempted to minimize the issue. It's normal, everyone does it. But the research is clear. Porn use is linked to lower relationship satisfaction, more conflict, and poorer sexual well-being. There's no good evidence that pornography strengthens long-term relationships. Instead, over time, it tends to erode trust, intimacy, and respect. So where does this leave us as parents? The good news is that there are practical, hopeful steps you can take, and you do not have to do this alone. Organizations like Fight the New Drug, whose mission is to help young people and adults make informed decisions about pornography by sharing the science, the statistics, and the real-life stories of those who have been hurt and those who have found freedom. They offer a range of free resources, articles that summarize the research, and a podcast called Consider Before Consuming, and a documentary series called Brain, Heart, World, designed for families and students. They also speak in schools, churches, and communities across the country, bringing live presentations to middle schools, high schools, colleges, and parent nights to spark honest conversations. Parents can find a hub of tools, conversation guides, and next steps designed specifically to help them talk to their kids and set healthy boundaries in a sexualized online world. I'll attach all of these below in the show notes. But even the best resources cannot replace your voice. The most powerful protective factor your child has is a strong, safe relationship with you. That starts with a shift in mindset. Instead of asking, when is the right age to have that talk? Ask, how can I have a conversation today that is honest, calm, and age appropriate? I have had this awkward, embarrassing conversation with all of my 5 children. It's always casual around the dinner table. I bring it up as a conversation directed at no one in particular. I explain that I'm kind of embarrassed to talk about it, but I find it is important. They have all been at different ages. The older ones understand exactly what I'm talking about, and the younger ones, they filter it out. What they don't understand, they can't relate to, and just learn that it's okay to talk about uncomfortable things with your parents or your siblings. It normalizes the conversation. For a 3 or 4-year-old, that might simply sound like, if you ever see a picture or a video that makes you feel confused, scared, or funny inside, like you're looking over somebody's shoulder at their laptop or their phone or something, you can just come and tell me or dad or one of your siblings. You're not going to be in trouble. And then as your kid grows older, the conversation expands to accurate language about bodies, respect, consent, and the fact that some images and videos are harmful and they don't show real sex. It's important to talk to daughters about this too, as they might have their first sexual encounters that are not safe, like strangulation or degrading experiences, and think that that's acceptable and normal. There will never be a perfect moment when you feel fully ready for these conversations, but just like you would prepare for a job interview, this conversation is worth having serious preparation for. Read, learn, practice what you want to say, and remind yourself that you are not taking your child's innocence away by preparing them. You are protecting it. The digital world is not going away, and pornography is not disappearing, but your child does not have to face it alone, confused and ashamed. Every child, from the curious 9-year-old to the jaded 17-year-old, needs to know at least these 3 things. Their value does not change because of what they have seen. Their brain and heart can heal and habits can change. Their parents or siblings are a safe place for truth, help, and hope. Pornography may be trying to hijack your child's brain, but with knowledge, honest conversations, and intentional guidance, you can help your child reclaim it and grow into a young adult who understands what real love, real intimacy, and respect looks like. I've attached everything I've mentioned today and also another podcast episode that I found very interesting and eye-opening. So go below and click on them and check them out. We got through it. Thank you for listening to this awkward, difficult episode. Please do share with someone who you think might benefit. Share with your child or partner even. Maybe use it to start a conversation with someone in your life. Hit the follow button on my podcast so you don't miss an episode. And please subscribe to my YouTube for videos. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you following me. And until next week, I'm Johanna Hart, and this is Not Your Mother's Midlife. Bye-bye.